Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Tigers second baseman Ian Kinsler has been red hot since the All-Star break. A .415 average in the second half, including the game-winning walk-off home run on Thursday against the Royals. Well, the scene will shift now as we welcome into Kansas City. Kauffman Stadium is seen tonight. Tigers-Royals, Game 1 in this three-game series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pepper alongside Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for Game 1 of an 8-game road trip. The Tigers, of course, have Ian Kinsler going, Rod, and there's probably not a hotter hitter on the planet right now.
Well, instead of one a day, we'll start calling him 2 a day because in his last 10 games, 8 of those have been multi-hit games. Ian Kinsler has had a lot of power throughout his career, but his swing path right now is the best that it's ever been. Short, quick, compact, lots of hits. He's having a lot of fun right now.
All right, the Royals have a pretty good hitter in their own right. In their number 3 hitter, that would be Eric Hosmer. And Hosmer, really one of the best two-way players in the American League.
You got that right, buddy. He's got a lot of tools in his toolbox, and one of those is power. And he's got power in every direction. He can lead to right field. He can go straight away center here at Kauffman. And this is a big ballpark now. He can also go over the left center field wall in Cleveland. So this guy's got huge power, and he also gets big hits. He also plays the other side of the ball. He's won 2 Gold Gloves, and he plays the game fearlessly, and he walks with a lot of swagger. I really like this guy. I think he's going to be an MVP at some point in time. They talk about a lot of guys on this team, but none better than Eric Hosmer.
All right, how about the pitching matchup tonight? Really kind of interesting. It's a rematch between Boyd and Cueto. Both of these guys pitched really well back in Detroit last week.
Well, the Kansas City Royals fans are going to get their first look at their new player. That would be Johnny Cueto. The last couple of years pitching for the Cincinnati Reds, he has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And really, you can go back to 2011. If you're Boyd, you got to win against the Kansas City Royals last time. Really don't change anything. He was able to throw 15 flyouts in that contest. He pitched 7 innings, only 1 earned run. So one of the things that he'll have to do today is just do exactly as he did last time. Change-ups at the bottom of the strike zone, elevate some fastballs, see if he can get some of these Royals hitters to chase those pitches.
All right, tough customer tonight in Cueto. We'll see if the Tigers are up to it. And after a short break, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Trevor Thompson. But coming up in this one tonight, hopefully some deja vu for the Tigers. They won 2 out of 3 from the Royals back in Detroit last week. Game 1 in this series coming up next. Cueto taking the hill, making his first start at home this year after being acquired in a trade with the Cincinnati Reds. And here's the lineup he will face tonight, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. For the Tigers, Anthony Gose leads it off in center field. Tyler Collins will bat second in left field. Ian Kinsler is at second base. A middle three of Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Marte Avila, and Romine, your bottom three. And they, of course, are facing Johnny Cueto.
And Johnny Cueto, outstanding pitcher. He's got outstanding stuff. He's got a fastball that tops out at about 96. He'll throw quite a few cutters as well. And the batting average against his changeup is under 200. So he's a really good big league pitcher. Let's take a look at the Kansas City Royals starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons, and Ned Yost pretty much runs the same cast of characters out there every single night. Rios, Kane, Zobrist in the outfield, Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, Hosmer in the infield. We've already talked about Hosmer at the top of our show. He's only committed 2 errors this season, and he's already won 2 Gold Gloves.
Well, it's a packed house here tonight, as we expected, as Cueto is making his first start here in KC. The Tigers and Royals break open what will be a 3-game series here at Kauffman Stadium. Gorgeous night for baseball, and Anthony Gose is settling into the batter's box for Detroit. It'll be Gose, Collins, and Kinsler. Tigers have made a couple of changes to the lineup tonight. Iglesias gets the night off, and so does McCann. Gose batting .256, couple of home runs this year. Cueto ready to go to work, and so are we. The first pitch of tonight's ball game. A check swing strike on Anthony Gose.
When you go up against Johnny Cueto, you need to be ready to hit when you step into that batter's box, because he will quick pitch a lot of these Tigers batters all night long.
Here's Cueto's 0-1. There's a quick pitch and a swing and a miss.
That's why you have to be ready. And I've talked to several Tigers hitters before the game today, and they said they are going to be ready for the quick pitch. But Anthony Gose is a little tardy on that fastball just thrown by Cueto.
The 0-2 is swung on and missed. He struck him out with a fastball, one gone.
Well, you know Cueto is going to be fired up, and this crowd is awfully loud. They've got the bug here in Kansas City, buddy. After they went to the World Series last year, they're averaging about 33,000 fans a game.
Well, the Royals have played well in their home ballpark as well. They are 14-3 since the 5th of July here. And Cueto wearing the home whites for the first time. A couple of starts on the road, including one in Detroit last week, in which he pitched well, but the Tigers outdueled him. Here is Tyler Collins playing in left field tonight. And Collins looks at ball one. Tyler in the 2 spot, 3-game hit streak, batting .270. The 1-0 is outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Cueto, one of the right-handed pitchers in the game, not afraid to throw that changeup to the left-handers, but he will use that changeup a fair amount of time to right-handed hitters as well.
Lifted in the air to right field. That's going to be playable for Rios, and 2 up, 2 down on the Tigers first. Now Ian Kinsler. Kinsler was an extremely tough out on the last homestand for the Tigers. 10 for 24 on the homestand.
8 of his last 10 games, multi-hit games for Ian Kinsler. He comes in tied with Prince Fielder with 44 multi-hit games this season, which paces the major leagues.
Ian looks at a strike called, 0-1.
Country Joe West behind the plate tonight.
So you got the veteran behind the dish, a full crowd, Johnny Cueto on the hill. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Long hesitation that time, and Kinsler took it for a ball.
Johnny Cueto calls that last delivery the rocking chair delivery. What he tries to do is he tries to rock the hitters to sleep with that very deceptive delivery.
Swing and a miss. He's out in front. 1-2. You're absolutely right about this town being supercharged now. They feel that they're going to go back to the World Series this year.
Dude, it's 2 outs in the first inning. Listen to them.
They're ready to go. Kinsler waits on a 1-2. Popped up foul, back out of play. We talked about this the last time that Cueto pitched, but it's amazing that he's able to repeat his delivery with all of the moving parts that he has.
And throw as many strikes as he throws, because he strikes out a lot and he walks very few.
There's that quick pitch, and it's foul straight back. I thought you asked a pretty good question of Brad Ausmus today about what it would be like to catch Cueto, because you don't know if that quick pitch is coming or the slow pitch is coming. It could be a challenge.
It could be.
Nobody thinks about what it's like for the catcher to have to try and catch this guy. Here's the 1-2. And he takes strike 3. Kinsler is punched out of there. Cueto has a couple of strikeouts here in the first inning. A 12-pitch inning and a standing ovation for Johnny Cueto. Here tonight, and for the Tigers on the hill, it is Matt Boyd, the left-hander, and he's presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
We told you Johnny Cueto has a really good changeup. Well, Matt Boyd also has a plus changeup. In his first start as a Tiger, 7 hits against the Royals, 7 innings pitched. He only gave up 1 run, and he threw 15 flyouts against them 5 days ago.
Here's the Royals starting lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. For KC tonight, it's Escobar, Zobrist, and Kane. The top 3, Hosmer, Morales, and Moustakas in the middle. Kendrys with 80 RBI this year. Perez, Rios, and Infante. And as you mentioned, Rod, they run the same guys out there every night.
And it really doesn't matter whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander. Ned Yost knows his players, and he's not afraid to put them out there in the positions that they're in right now.
It's been 6 years already as the skipper of the Royals, and here comes Kansas City in the first, facing the left-hander Boyd. Escobar has hit safely in his last 5. He'll lead things off for the Royals. And it's sliced back up the middle into center field. Escobar, first pitch swinging, has a leadoff single.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. It's presented by Beaumont Health. In right field, they have Martinez. Center field, Ghost. Left field, that would be Collins. Third to first, Reeds, Castellanos, Romine, Kinsler, and Jeffrey Marte. Avila getting the start behind the plate here tonight. Avila only had 5 at-bats on the last homestand.
So Alex behind the dish, catching the youngster Boyd.
Escobar jumped on that first pitch fastball at about 92 thrown from Boyd. If you rank his pitches, fastball probably his best pitch, but that changeup would be next. And then you go slider, curveball.
Zobrist hammers that one to left field, and Escobar will stop at second, and the Royals coming out swinging the bats.
One of the things that Brad Ausmus talked about when he met with the media today, if he was Boyd, he would not change a thing until the Kansas City Royals made the adjustment against him. Well, guess what? This just in. It's about time for Boyd to make an adjustment.
Well, the Royals walked 8 times the last time they faced the Tigers in the last game of that series. They have not been a very patient team this year. and they've come out swinging here, more to their stature in the first two batters. Lorenzo Cain will stand in. Early scoring opportunity for the Royals.
That is one of the things the Royals have done very well this year. They have scored a lot of first inning runs.
Cain goes after the first pitch and fouls it into the glove. Strike one.
Good pitch there thrown by Boyd. Fastball to Escobar. Fastball to Zobrist. First pitch changeup to Lorenzo Cain.
Cain got the day off yesterday for Kansas City. He is only 1 for his last 17 against Tigers pitching. Really didn't have a good series in that 3-game set last week. Only 1 hit. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Royals have scored 78 first inning runs, and their opponents have only scored 36. So they're outscoring their opponents by a pretty big margin in the very first frame. 42 runs they're outscoring their opponents by.
A huge differential there. Plus 42. Tigers not that bad themselves at a plus 23. Now the 1-1. Cain watches it sail outside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Lorenzo Cain. Matt Boyd, 24 years old, native of Seattle, Washington. That's where he was born. 6'3", 215. David Price deal acquisition. Cain's got himself in a 2-1 count. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike. The only run the Royals scored against Boyd the first time they faced him was an RBI triple in the 4th inning by Kendrys Morales, and that was all that Matt gave up in that game. But in trouble early here tonight. Fouled away. 3-2 now on Cain.
Well, you wonder what Ned Yost will do here. 3-2 count, runners on first and second. You got some speed on the base pass, but you also have a very dangerous hitter in the on-deck circle in Eric Hosmer, who has simply been on fire. The decisions the managers have to make early in a game. I'm going to say stay.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm with you. Too risky of a proposition here. And they hold. 3-2 pitches into the air toward the gap in left center field. That is trouble. And that ball is up against the wall. 1 run scores. Zobrist rounding third. They send him home. He will score. And the Royals are off and running tonight.
3 batters, 3 rockets on 3 fastballs thrown by Boyd. And it goes in center field. Can't run it down. There's not a center fielder in our game that can run it down. This is a fastball that is simply right down the middle. Probably overthrew it at 94 miles an hour, and it's absolutely whistled off the bat of Cain. Zobrist got a great read on it, and he was able to score all the way from first without a play.
Good visit here by Jeff Jones, the pitching coach. You've got a supercharged atmosphere here. You've got Johnny Cueto on the hill for the other team, and Boyd, they're just trying to settle him down now. This has got to be a night where he's got a few extra butterflies. Well, still nobody out for Hosmer.
Well, he's going to have to start using his breaking ball a little bit more. He's going to have to throw some more change-ups, and one of the things he cannot afford to do against the Royals is fall behind them.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. Hosmer has hit safely at 19 of his last 21. Shoot that one foul, back out of play. 0-1.
The Royals just added to their first inning total of runs scored this year. They have now outscored the opponent by 44 runs in the first frame.
80-36. Cain looking to come home as well. The 0-1 to Hosmer. 1 ball, 1 strike. 61 driven in for Eric Hosmer. This is a 3-4-5 in the Royals lineup that is awfully good. You've got Kane, Hosmer, Morales.
It's one of the best in baseball, but really no one talking that much about their 3-4-5.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. He was out in front that time.
He's going to have to do a little bit more of that, not only to the left-handed batters, but also to some of the right-handers. Throw that curveball, throw some changeups, elevate some fastballs. Must change some eye levels.
3 straight hits for the Royals out of the chute here. Escobar and Zobrist with singles, Kane with a double to plate 2. Hosmer thought about it, didn't go. They will appeal, but he held up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With Kendrys Morales on deck. Hosmer in the last series last week at Comerica was 5 for 10. They had trouble getting him out, and he also had 3 walks. Missed the inside corner and fill the count now 3-2.
Little slide step there by Boyd. I guess that's his version of a quick pitch to Eric Hosmer there.
He almost got him looking.
Very important to retire Hosmer there. That way they can walk Morales in the on-deck circle if they choose to do so.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Hosmer strikes out swinging.
And now you wonder if they will walk Morales after a really good changeup thrown here to Eric Hosmer for strike 3. Actually, that's a breaking ball.
You got the lefty Moustakas waiting on deck, and you've got a guy that has 80 RBIs stepping in right now.
And if you look a little bit further, Perez, who follows Moustakas, is not doing very well this year against left-handed pitching.
.290 for Kendrys Morales. Runner at second with 1 out. 2 runs in for the Royals. And it's in for a strike. 0-1.
If you're wondering about Kane and the possibility that he might try to steal third base, Lorenzo Cain is 17 of 19 in his major league career in steals of third, so he's only been caught twice.
Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nice job there by Matt Boyd, giving Lorenzo Cain multiple looks at second base just in case he's entertaining that thought of trying to run.
Morales with his 80 RBIs, his second right now in the American League. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
That changeup right there allowed Matt Boyd to dominate minor league hitters. He was 9-2 in a couple of stops in the minors this year, and the majority of his strikeouts came on that change piece.
Morales has power, 13 homers this year. Trying to drive in a run from second. Boyd's 1-2. Bouncing ball foul. The driver's seat tonight is brought to you by Kia. Here are the largest batting average improvements over the last 2 years, and you see Morales is on that list. He's up 72 points from last year.
Wow.
And Mike Moustakas, the guy on deck, is also on that list.
Yeah, we just saw Xander Bogaerts as well yesterday.
And again the 1-2. Up and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boyd now is about to throw his 20th pitch of the inning, and you see that in his minor league time, 19 starts, absolutely dominant. 106.5 ERA.
108 strikeouts, only 27 walks.
Yeah, that's a huge differential. Here's the 2-2. Drilled to left center field, base hit. Kane was on his way back to the bag, but he'll come around to score. Kendrys Morales with an RBI single, and it's 3-0 Kansas City.
Wonder what the Tigers were thinking there, not walking Morales, to be perfectly honest with you. You set up a double play. Morales is grounded into 18 double plays already this year, or you look at the guys behind him. That would be Moustakas and Perez.
Well, I wonder if Brad just did not want to put another runner on to increase the pressure on Boyd. I don't know. It seemed like the play, and certainly hindsight is 20/20, but
no, we said it beforehand.
Well, you're right. Yeah, they paid for it. Here's Moustakas. Another lefty-lefty matchup. Strike one on Mike Moustakas.
Tigers not playing Moustakas nearly to pull as much as they were earlier in the year, and that's because he has had a really good year at driving the ball the opposite way. He's also bunted for 3 base hits this season.
Checked it. Didn't go. Kerwin Danley agrees. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's been a rough patch for Moustakas, trying to break an 0 for 12. But really, since the All-Star break, he has scuffled. He's hitting under 200 since the break. With his knees there, 1-2.
Look no further than Moustakas' overall body of work and hits directions as to why he may be as good this year. Last season, only 17 hits to left field. This year, already twice as many. Not pulling the ball nearly as much. Therefore, the batting average up a lot higher this year than last season for Mike.
You don't have that kind of improvement unless you make a concerted effort to want to improve, to hit the ball the other way.
And he did that in spring training last year. He said that he just tried to hit the ball through the shift, but that didn't work very well for him.
He said his ego became involved, and that it didn't matter if they wanted to shift him, he was going to be able to beat it, but he couldn't. This year he changed his tact. And where was that? Just a little bit outside. Boyd wanted that one. 3-2.
It's been a lengthy inning for Boyd. He's already thrown 25 pitches.
(3-2). Bouncing ball foul. So Boyd expending a lot of energy here in the first inning. There's his breakdown after 26 pitches. And a warm evening here, humid evening as well in Kansas City. Still only 1 out. Salvador Perez waiting on deck. Ground ball, first base side. Marte will flip to second. They'll get 1, and that's it. Moustakas aboard in the fielder's choice, and there are 2 gone. So that'll bring up Salvador Perez. Time now for the Bernstein advantage as Perez comes strolling into the batter's box. Against lefties, 3 hits in his last 48 at bats.
That's struggling.
And overall this year, just a $188 versus lefties. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Perez this year has hit for power 16 homers. He's knocked in 48. And only Yadier Molina in the big leagues has more hits as a catcher. Boyd's 0-1. In there, 0-2 on Salvador Perez. So this will be a 30-pitch inning minimum for Matt Boyd. He's given up 3 runs on 4 hits. And the 0-2. Drilled down the left field line. It is hooking, foul. Just a tad out in front of that one was Perez. The Royals play some really good baseball here at home. They're 38-17 here at the K. And they're playing to big crowds, especially here tonight with Cueto making his first start as a Royal at home. Boyd allowed just one run in his first start against KC. He's allowed 3 already here in the first inning. The 0-2. That'll get back out of play. Here are those numbers. The Royals were 0 for 5 with men in scoring position in that start.
They're already 2 for 2 today.
Kansas City came into play with an 11.5 game lead over Minnesota, 12.5 up on the Tigers in the Central. Missed it inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You make that 2 for 3. Eric Hosmer, he struck out with runners on first and second. Runner on second, excuse me.
The Royals took over first place in the Central on June the 8th. And they have remained there since. Swing and a miss. He finally gets Perez, whose struggles against lefties continue. But a big inning for the Royals. They scored 3 times. And we go to the second. By Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Coming to Comerica. Chrysler, enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. And by Purina, your pet, our passion. Nice night here in Kansas City, albeit a little bit humid here this afternoon and into tonight. The Tigers find themselves down by 3 early here. Victor Martinez will start things off. Then J.D. Martinez and Nick Castellanos. Johnny Cueto goes to work. 1 ball to no strikes on Victor.
Last 4 games hitting from the left side. Victor has really started to heat up. He's been able to turn on some good fastballs and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, 3 homers in his last 4 games.
8 ribbies. Previous 18 games, just 6 RBIs.
Victor had that 2 home run, 5 RBI game on Thursday against the Royals. And Cueto missed outside.
He's never had a hit against Johnny Cueto. He's 0 for 9. Good time to get one.
One is in there for a strike. 3-2 now. Full count on Martinez.
It's a cut fastball there thrown by Cueto at 87 miles an hour. His 4-seam fastball gets up to about 95.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Cueto has his 3rd strikeout.
Previous pitch was a cutter at 87. Then he comes back with a 4-seam fastball, quick pitch variety at 93, thrown right by Victor. Every single pitch was outside against Victor.
Here is J.D. Martinez. J.D. hammers one foul back out of play. Cueto has made a couple of starts against the Tigers. You'll remember the one he made last week in Detroit, but also don't forget he made that start against David Price in Cincinnati. That was rain delayed. The 0-1, swing and a miss. This is why the Royals got Johnny Cueto. I mean, they've made a decision that they are all in this year. They feel they can win the World Series, but they needed an ace. He's going through all the signs now with Salvador Perez, and they'll restart it.
And Salvador Perez still learning. And Johnny Cueto, this is only the 3rd time he's caught him.
To right field, hit pretty good, but Rios going back. Is it over his head? Yes. 1 hop up against the wall. Martinez on his way to second. He has a 2-base hit.
That looked like a lazy fly ball when it left JD's bat, and I thought that Rios would get there, but he didn't get there.
Tigers have their first hit.
It's a fastball that he lunges for, but he gets enough of it and basically hit it with one hand. And Rios just not able to get there.
Yet another example, I suppose, of how strong J.D. Martinez is.
Right.
One-handing one off the wall in right field. There's Castellanos. Tigers trying to get on the board here in the second.
Runners in scoring position. Castellanos loves to swing at first pitch fastballs. I'm sure Cueto knows that.
Ball 1. Nick in the month of July had 20 RBIs, his biggest month of the year. 20 of his 50 that he has on the season.
And hit quite a few homers too. And some long home runs.
High fly ball right center field. Rios is under this one. Runner will tag but not go anywhere, and there are 2 gone. Well, it's Johnny Cueto night here at the ballpark. His first home start. So Slugger, their mascot,
he's all in.
He is all in is right.
That's beautiful.
He's styling too.
Taking pictures too.
Profiling. So with 2 outs, here is Marte. Jeffrey showed some pop. Homered yesterday in the ballgame. And now 3 home runs at the major league level. Bouncing ball back to the mound. That's going to be that for the Tigers as Cueto tags the runner for the out. Tigers waste a 1-out double. We go to the bottom of the second. Orioles in the lead in this one. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's Steak and Egg Burritos. Well, we are back here in Kansas City as we go to the bottom of the second. The Royals now will take their second turn here against Matt Boyd. They sent 8 men to the plate in the first inning. And it'll be Rios, 7 men actually I should say. It'll be Rios, Infante, and Escobar. And Boyd was 7 for 7 in first pitch strikes. However, he gave up 3 runs and threw 33 pitches. Rios fouls it back.
Well, apparently they're going to be very aggressive here tonight against Boyd. That's been several hitters that have gone to the ditch already in the first couple of frames that have swung at the first fastball they've seen from Boyd.
Escobar did it. Zobrist did it. Then set up the 2-run double by Kane. Here's the 0-1.
Good pitch. Little breaking ball here. Curveball variety dropped in there very nicely against Rios.
The 0-2. Off the end of the bat, foul.
So already the game plan has been changed. Not as many fastballs here. Breaking balls and changeups the last 3 or 4 hitters. You have to do that at this level. I mean, if guys are on your fastball in that very first inning, you're not going to stay around very long unless you make the necessary adjustments.
Checked it, but he went. Strike 3 called by Country Joe. 1 gone. 3rd strikeout now for Boyd. And a much better start to this inning.
He threw Rios a couple of breaking balls and also a changeup, and all of them were located south of the knees.
Here's Omar Infante. Omar in the throes of an 0 for 13 slump. Ball 1.
Omar better get it going, because if he doesn't get it going, Ben Zobrist, when Alex Gordon comes back, is going to play second base, and Omar is going to find himself sitting a little bit more often than he wants to.
Well, Ned Yost said before the game today that, you know, Infante, eventually he thinks it's going to click for him, but here we are in the month of August. There's really not much time for it to click.
Yep, hitting .224.
But he also said he's mixed in enough big hits this season to keep him in the lineup. Here's the 2-0. High fly ball. Shallow left field. Collins coming in, and it's going to be the shortstop Romine to make the play. Andrew calling it all the way. .40 now for Boyd. 26 strikes.
Jose Iglesias really needed a day off. He was only 1 for 13 in the just completed series against the Boston Red Sox. And Brett Ausmus simply getting him off his feet for a day, at least at the beginning of this contest.
Here is Alcides Escobar, who got it rolling back at the first with a leadoff single. Strike 1 for Boyd on the outer edge.
Generous call there by Joe West.
Looked way wide. No beefing from Escobar. That'll bounce in. 1-1. So Boyd trying to get that pitch count back in order after a 33 pitch first and hopefully getting a 1-2-3 second. The 1-1. 1-2 on Escobar.
Boyd is fearless with this changeup, and look at the location of it, though.
Here's the 1-2. That'll get back out of play.
Saw Jeff Jones at the hotel today, and we were talking about Boyd, and he said that he kind of likes Boyd's fastball anywhere from 90 to 92 because it has a little bit more life to it, a little bit more late movement to it. He says he thought Boyd was a little amped up in his first start at Comerica Park for his new team. He was up to 94 most of the evening with his fastball.
I read a quote as well by James McCann, who caught him in that game, and he said, we were able to use that fastball because it rides a little bit. We were able to live up in the zone a little bit more and get a lot of fly ball outs.
Yeah, they got 15 of them,
which is a ton. Here's the 2-2 off the mask of Avila.
Might want to go right back with another fastball. If you locate it upstairs, you might get a swing and miss. It looked like to me on that last swing by Escobar that he might have the changeup in the back of his mind.
Missed with it, and the count now will go 3-2. So what does he throw here now with a full count?
I wouldn't be afraid to throw my fastball here. I'm going to throw a breaking ball, though.
And he got him. Strike three. Boyd strikes him out. A 1-2-3 second inning. That is his fourth strikeout of the ball game. Tigers baseball tonight from Kansas City, presented by Bell Tire. Stadium. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So Johnny Cueto goes back to the hill, and he's got himself a 3-0 lead. Alex Avila will start things off for the Tigers. It'll be Avila, Romine, and Ghosts.
It's turned into a pretty pleasant night here tonight. It's a lot of humidity early, but not feeling as much humidity right now.
Agreed. Which we are thankful for. Avila looks at a strike. Alex batting 182. He had just 5 at bats in the homestand, 2 out of 5. Now the 0-1 pitch. That'll sail outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cueto struck out 2 in the first. He struck out another in the second. Pitched around a 1-out double from J.D. Martinez. High fly ball, left center field. Kane and Zobrist converge. Zobrist, 1 out. Here's Andrew Romine. Royals gave up 3 pitchers to get Cueto. Brandon Finnegan was the biggest name of the trio. Cueto, they know, final 2 months in the Royals uniform. Then he's a free agent in the offseason. But it's what he can do in the interim that really, I guess they had to pull the trigger on that deal.
I've talked to some people here in Kansas City, and because they're selling out just about every single home game, and if they do happen to go very deep in the postseason, there will be some money to sign a guy like Johnny Cueto if Dayton Moore feels like he's the one guy to anchor the rotation for the next 5 years.
Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball to first. Nice stop there by the Gold Glover. Hosmer wins the race to the bag by a step. 2 gone.
Eric Hosmer has very soft hands over at first base. He's also a very big first baseman. He's about 6 feet 5 inches, but he's got really quick feet, very soft hands, and real nice agility.
Hosmer's only made a couple of errors. We saw him pick a couple of balls back at Comerica Park last week.
A good first baseman can save the left side of your infield a lot of errors during the course of the regular season.
Anthony Gose looks at a strike. Royals feel this year they'll get to 2.7 million and break their attendance record. That has popped up, and I mean straight up. Escobar, the shortstop, and that is that. No runs, no hits, nobody left. 1-2-3 inning. All right, Mick, well, that's good news. The former coming over, of course, at the trading deadline. The Tigers restocking their minor league system with some pitching. Well, a couple of those guys up in the big leagues now. Tonight's starter, Boyd included. We'll bring it back home, and it's a strike called on Ben Zobrist. Zobrist, Kane, and Hosmer, 2, 3, and 4. Kansas City got 3 in the first inning, and so far it is held up. Zobrist a part of that with a base hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2 coming home. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fulmer, the prospect that Nick was talking of, was acquired in the Cespedes deal from the New York Mets. Here's the 2-2. Ripped down the left field line. It's going to be fair. Collins over to cut it off. Zobrist digging for two. There's a play. He's going to be out. What a throw there by Collins.
It's a 2-2 fastball inside, drilled down the left field line by Zobrist. Pulls his hands in nicely, but take a look at Collins. He gets over there, turns, and throws a one-hop strike to Ian Kinsler. And if you're Collins in left field, you know how Zobrist plays the game. You know he's going to try to stretch that single into a double, and he did not get caught napping in the outfield.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain had a 2-run double to gap in left center field in the first inning. Cain now with 50 RBIs this year.
Not only was that a good throw by Collins, but an outstanding tag by Kinsler.
Well, off the bat, down the line, that always looks like an immediate double.
Especially with a guy like Zobrist, who you know is thinking double out of the batter's box.
1-1 strike on Lorenzo Cain.
Tigers now have 26 assists from the outfield, which is 6th best in the majors.
A little bit off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike.
JD has quite a few of those. Of course, Cespedes had a lot of those too before he left.
JD has 12 of them already.
Gose also has a terrific throwing arm from center field.
Here's the 2-1. Driven deep to left, but it's going to hook down the line and back into the seats.
One more look at the throw by Collins and the really fast tag by Ian Kinsler. He grabs it and it puts his glove right in the way where Zobrist was sliding.
Here's the 2-2. Missed it inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Cain. Lorenzo this year, aside from driving in runs, hitting homers, hitting over 300, has 20 stolen bases as well. And a strike called. Cain is out of there. Another punch out for Boyd.
It's a changeup up in the strike zone. You can see the grip in the glove.
Boyd got the benefit there. Here is Hosmer with 2 outs. That floats in high. 1-0. Hosmer could not deal with Boyd in the first inning, struck him out. .315 batting average, and he rips that one foul. Look out. Not too many empty seats tonight here at Kauffman Stadium. This place was quite a sight in the postseason last year, wasn't it?
They had a lot of fun. This place was loud. Cinderella story of the postseason last year. Kansas City Royals.
Driven deep to right center field. That ball is hit well. And that ball's up against the wall. Hosmer is on his way to second. He has a double. Two-out, two-base hit.
It really doesn't matter with Hosmer these days, whether it's a left-hander or whether it's a right-hander. He's barreling up everything.
Third double for Eric Hosmer. And it's going to bring up Kendrys Morales, who singled in a run in the first inning. Morales had a couple of hits against Boyd in the first inning between these two. 0-1. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Kinsler shades over to make the play, and Morales is retired to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. 3 in the books at KC. Go to the top of the 4th, game 1 in this 3-game series. Tigers and Royals from Kauffman Stadium. And Cueto in the 4th inning facing Tyler Collins to lead things off. Collins, Kinsler, and Victor Martinez. Tigers have only 1 hit so far. Swing and a miss by Tyler.
Tigers hitters really just have not been able to barrel up the fastball that Cueto has been featuring here tonight, whether he be quick pitching or whether he be going into that rocking chair delivery.
That's in the air to shallow right field. Kane and Rios. Kane will make the catch.
We've already seen quite a few of those. Let's take a look at the delivery of Lorenzo Cain. Here's the rocking chair delivery, which he takes, Cueto, excuse me, takes a lot of time. Then the next delivery, he will simply quick pitch the batters. And a lot of the guys have simply been tardy on the fastballs, tardy on the breaking balls, and he's kind of kept the ball out of the middle of the plate as well.
He struck out Ian Kinsler, one of his 3 strikeouts. That floats inside 1-0. Kinsler with multi-hit games in 13 of his last 20. Bouncing ball left side. Moustakas backs up. 2 gone. A couple of quick outs here for Cueto, and that'll bring up Victor Martinez. Cueto has had 2 top 5 finishes in Cy Young voting, including last year when Clayton Kershaw won it. He finished 2nd to Kershaw. Victor 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 0-1. That's a fly ball lifted to center. That'll be routine for Lorenzo Cain, and Johnny Cueto is on a roll to start this game. A 6-pitch 4th inning.
Here in Kansas City, the Tigers would like to rally into a close game, but they'll be without their closer, Alex Wilson, again, though he's closer to getting back. He's got the shoulder injury that has kept him out of the lineup, out of the bullpen for the last couple of days, and he went to the bullpen here at Kauffman Stadium earlier today and cut a session short. It was only 12 pitches, but we're told that was by design. Wilson also told us he won't be available tonight, but he thinks, provided everything is okay tomorrow, that he could pitch and perhaps close out a win for the Tigers here tomorrow night. Mario, right?
Well, I hope that's the case, because he certainly has been an outstanding addition to the Tigers bullpen.
Brad now has some options down there with the way that Rondon has been throwing that baseball the last 3 or 4 times he's been out there, though.
Yeah, Rondon certainly has been, as they say, much more productive and a little bit of a swagger to him now out of the bullpen. Vila makes the play on that Moustakas pop-up. One gone as Boyd has really settled in now. Three-0 Royals have the lead. We're playing in the 4th inning as Salvador Perez stands in. He struck out his first time up. That's a bullet into left. Royals have had at least one hit in 3 of the first 4 innings. They have 7 hits now.
Every single hit that they've gotten here today has come on the Boyd fastball. They really have not been able to do much with the Boyd changeup, the Boyd curveball, but that fastball, they're seeing that ball very well out of his hand tonight.
Alex Rios. He fanned in the 2nd. Rios' numbers this year have been much better at home than on the road. Ball 1 outside. Rios .295 at home this year. Veteran outfielder. Broke in with the Toronto Blue Jays. Now the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2 on Rios. He missed 7 weeks with a broken wrist earlier this year, but is good to go and healthy for the pennant stretch, and he is perked up offensively recently. Grounded foul. Rios, as a matter of fact, scored the winning run yesterday in the 8th inning on Infante's ground ball as the Royals swept the Chicago White Sox, and Kansas City, with their sweep, has now swept 6 series of 3 or more games this year.
It's a good baseball team.
Yeah, hence that's why they've got a lot of wins.
And most wins in the American League.
Boyd tried to nip the inside corner, missed with a fastball. 2-2.
And Boyd can simply go right back inside with another fastball if he chooses to do so, or he can simply fade a changeup down and away. There's Dayton Moore sitting in the middle with the blue tie. He's the architect of this 2015 Kansas City Royals team.
Rios swings and misses.
Here's our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. We told you that Boyd pitched very well against Kansas City 5 days ago and got away with a lot of fastballs. Well, he wasn't getting away with those fastballs early. They scored 3 runs against him in the first frame, and then Boyd simply made an adjustment. He went to the breaking ball. He went to the changeup. He changed some eye levels, and he's been getting some easier outs since he made the adjustment.
Infante hits it in the air. Center field for Anthony Gose. And that will end the inning. No runs, a single, and 1 man left. 4 in the books here in KC. Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here at Kauffman Stadium, the Tigers and Royals go to the 5th inning in a 3-0 game.
Johnny Cueto has only thrown a total of 38 pitches through 4 innings here tonight.
Cueto had a 6-pitch 4th inning. Now we'll see if they can start to work Cueto here as J.D. Martinez leads it off. Martinez, then Castellanos and Marte. Only one Tigers hit off the bat of J.D. He lofted a double against the wall in the 2nd inning, but didn't score.
I mean, Cueto has a fastball that can go all the way up to 96. We have not seen that yet here this evening. Most of his fastballs have been anywhere from 90 to 94.
Soft line drive caught by their second baseman Infante. One gone here in the 5th. Time for the Lowe's never stop improving stat. And, well, I guess you could say this applies to the Kansas City Royals. When you look at their winning percentage, starting in 2009, Rod, every year it's been an incremental improvement.
Well, in 2009 and 10 and 11, when they were finishing in last place, they were drafting some really good players. And now all those players are in the major leagues. And because of that, they've gone on to have a really nice year this year as they finished last year. Going all the way to the World Series.
Nick Castellanos flied out his first time up. Outside 2-0 on Nick. And drops in for a strike. Well, the Royals came in 22 over the 500 mark, an 11.5 game lead in the Central. They have 66 wins this year. That almost hit him. Last year at this time they had 63 wins, but the difference, well, the Tigers haven't played up to certainly their capabilities this year, many feel. And they've been able to open up a sizable lead. Here's the 3-1. Grounded foul. 3-2 on Castellanos. 9 straight retired by Cueto. Whistled foul back out of play. Good swing by Nick on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Here's the 3-2. Just got a piece of the breaking ball to foul it off. 3 runs, 7 hits. KC, no runs, 1 hit. The Tigers were in the 5th inning at Kauffman Stadium. Tigers embarking on an 8-game and 10-day road trip. Kansas City, Houston, and Chicago the destinations. Lifted in the air to center. Lorenzo Cain is under it. 2 outs. Hey, calling all Youpers. Purchase a special Tigers Youper ticket package to see the Tigers play the Rangers August 22nd at 7:08. Get a Tigers Youper t-shirt. Offer available exclusively at tigers.com/Youper.
Couple of Youpers there?
No, it could be. They got their glasses on. Well, they haven't had much to cheer about tonight. Got to get the bats going here.
Our good buddy John Hiller is a Youper.
Is he?
Yeah.
Marte bounced out to the mound his first time up. There's a strike call. So a lot of Tigers fans at the hotel today, walking around the plaza as well, the plaza area where the Tigers stay here in Kansas City.
Real nice area.
A strike call.
There is not another pitcher in the major leagues like Johnny Cueto.
Literally.
The multiple deliveries, arm slots, breaking balls and fastball counts.
Oh, they thought they had it, but not so. Cueto wanted it, didn't get it.
That was a cut fastball on 88 that he started off the plate on purpose. He thought he had enough cutting action on it to get the call from Joe West, but it's a hair inside.
2-2. Now full 3 balls, 2 strikes on Marte. Should he reach? Avila waiting on deck. Bouncing ball left side of the infield. Escobar, the shortstop, can't handle it. Marte is safe at first base. Once it got by Moustakas, was going to be a tough play for Escobar.
Escobar is usually pretty sure-handed at the shortstop position. That may go as his 10th error of the year.
It is. E6. So the Tigers have just their second base runner. Cueto had retired 10 straight prior to that. Now we'll see if Avila can make him pay. Alex flied out to left field in his first at bat, 0 for 1. In there, strike 1.
Haven't had a chance to talk to Alex about his dad being the new general manager. Have you had a chance to catch up with him about that yet?
No, I've seen him a couple of times, but the conversation hasn't drifted that way. But I'm sure he's extremely proud.
Oh, no question. He has watched his dad work extremely hard over the years.
Al has talked oftentimes about how somewhat awkward it can be when your son is on the same team that you're the GM for. Of course, Alex, a free agent at the end of the season. 1-1 is swung on and missed. 1-2.
It's also a blessing too, though, just to
it is.
See your child have a chance to realize the dream of playing in Major League Baseball. Grandfather Ralph has been in the game for a long time with the Dodgers. Dad has been in the game for a long time, and now the son's been in the game for a while.
Of course, Al told the story at his press conference about how he was telling David Chad, please don't draft Alex. Please don't draft him.
I remember.
He wanted his son to go play elsewhere where it wouldn't have been as awkward, but you're right, a blessing nonetheless. They changed that play, by the way, to a hit for Marte. Take the air away from Escobar. The second Tigers hit. 2-2 on Avila. And he just missed the outside corner. Fill it now, 3-2. It's 60 now for Cueto after a couple of snappy innings, the third and fourth.
Yeah, his most stressful inning by far.
Romine on deck. Runner goes on 3-2. Swing and a miss. Avila strikes out, ending the inning. No runs. 1 hit, 1 man left. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
joined us a little late. Escobar jumped on the first pitch. Zobrist jumped on the second pitch. Runners on first and second. And then Kane comes up with a double to drive in 2. And then Kendrys Morales, he adds to the 80 RBI that he had already driven in this year. Now he has a total of 81.
Well, tip your cap to Boyd, because after that Rocky first inning, he's given up nothing.
Well, nice adjustment. He and Avila. I'm sure Jeff Jones weighed in as well. A lot more breaking balls, lots more change-ups the last 3 innings.
First one is popped in the air, shallow left field, going to drop from the left center base hit for Alcides Escobar. His second hit tonight. He's 2 out of 3. Here's Ben Zobrist. 2 singles for Zobrist. He was caught trying to stretch a single to a double in his last at bat.
And we talk about Johnny Cueto, and this is the first time the home fans get a chance to see him, but it's also the first look for the Kansas City fans at their new utility man. That would be Ben Zobrist. And when the deal was made for both gentlemen, the Royals were on a road trip, a lengthy road trip.
Well, Zobrist has been playing left field exclusively until yesterday when they started him at third base. Back out in left field today.
Alex Gordon the last couple of days has taken some batting practice. He started to run the bases a little bit. Gordon would be their everyday left fielder. Of course, he's been on the disabled list for quite some time now with a pulled groin.
But they've been able to weather the storm. They're 17 and 11 without Gordon.
Yeah, they haven't missed him much. Meanwhile, the Tigers have not fared as well, losing their slugger Miguel Cabrera.
On the outer edge, a strike called 1-1. Zobrist has hit safely in 8 of 10 as a Royal. Escobar draws another throw. 10 steals this year for Alcides. Been caught 5 times though.
And Royals not running nearly as much this year as they have ran the last couple of years, but they don't have to. They've got some guys that are driving in a lot of runs, batting 3rd, 4th, and 5th this year. So Ned Yost, their manager, does not have to force the issue as much as he has had to in the past.
Boyd will have to deal with the middle of the lineup, which is lurking. You've got Kane, then Hosmer.
And Rusty Coombs, their first base coach, and a really good first base coach. He handles the base runners, and a lot of times he's the one that can give the steal sign to the base runners, not the manager, Ned Yost.
That'll miss outside. 2-1 on Zobrist.
And Rusty, former Tiger. Rusty and I played together in 1977. I was leaving high school and he was leaving college, and we were on the same rookie ball team. Played in the same outfield together. I was 17 and he was 20.
Did you guys hang out together?
We might have went out and had a
beverage.
No, I don't think I wasn't old enough to drink beverages back then. At least not legally.
I forgot about that. You were only 17. A Pepsi then, or a Coke.
Yeah. That beverage. That kind of beverage.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Boyd now has thrown 80 in this game. Here's 81. That'll fill the count at 3-2. Lorenzo Cain waiting on deck. And time called now as Boyd was about to deliver. A late time given by Country Joe. Now Boyd ready again with the 3-2. Outside, he lost in ball 4. There are 2 men on now with nobody out. Zobrist reaching for the 3rd time.
And Tigers are going to have to get someone busy down in that bullpen. They cannot really afford to fall behind any more than they are this evening. Not the way that Johnny Cueto is throwing the ball.
So here is Lorenzo Cain. 2-run double in his first at bat. .50 RBIs now for their number 3 hitter. And he takes ball 1. We're talking about Rusty Kuntz. He was telling the story that last year one of the turning points for the Royals and Lorenzo Cain was the situation in Detroit when Cain was at first base. Victor Martinez was playing first that day, and Victor just came over to start a conversation with him, and Cain said, you know what, I don't want to talk to you. You guys have beaten us the first 2 games in the series. We need to start taking this more seriously. And he just shut down Victor Martinez.
Really?
And it was such a moment, the Royals say, that Rusty got on the bus as they were leaving Detroit and said, did you see what Lorenzo Cain said to Victor Martinez? And it became quite a rallying point. And I think it was the point where they felt that Cain just kind of grew up and became a leader.
Really? That's a good story.
The Tigers had won the first 2 games in the series, and Cain said, look,
enough's enough.
Enough's enough, yeah. I don't want to talk to you. Here's the 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, he has certainly blossomed this year. Buck Farmer now is starting to throw in the Detroit bullpen. Here's the 2-1. Rope foul. Look out.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity on Boyd. His top fastball, 94 miles an hour. He's thrown several fastballs in that range. 72, that would be on that really good curveball that he's had here tonight.
Well, a danger point in this game. The Tigers already down by 3 as we play here in the 5th inning. 2 on, nobody out. 2-2 on Lorenzo Cain. And the ground to second base could be 2. That's a 4-6-3 double play, and that is huge for Boyd. 2 gone, runner at third.
Just a real nice shuffle here by Ian Kinsler. He shuffled it underneath, but it was a firm feed, and it needed to be firm because Cain has decent speed running down that line. Romine coming across the bag very aggressively, able to get off a really good throw to Marte.
Yes, says Boyd, he needed that. Now let's get the final out here in this 5th. Eric Hosmer doubled in his last at bat. Hosmer grounds it foul, first base side.
I know we've probably told this story, but it's worth repeating. When Eric Hosmer was a senior at American Heritage High School in Miami, Nick Castellanos was on the same team. Eric was a senior, Castellanos was a sophomore, and Dayton Moore, the general manager, went to go watch Hosmer play, and it was Castellanos who hit 2 home runs in the game. Hosmer ended up closing out the game as a pitcher, throwing 97 miles an hour.
Whoa.
And, of course, the Royals made Hosmer their #1 draft choice after that season. So a little tie there between Castellanos and Hosmer.
Well, there's Nick. He's in the big leagues as well.
And Castellanos transferred after that year to another school to finish out his high school career. Archbishop High School down in Florida.
Swing and a miss. Hosmer had a rip.
such a plus pitch when you're not afraid to throw your changeup to a left-handed batter. And that used to be taboo for left-handers. They would never want that changeup to fade down and in to left-handed hitters because that's really where they hit the ball best. But Boyd is fearless with his pitch, that changeup.
Ball high. How about a couple of first-rounders playing on the same high school team?
Yeah.
I mean, I know in Florida that's much more common, in California and areas like that, but still pretty impressive. Castellanos, the Tigers' first-rounder, and Hosmer for the Royals. Two and two on Hosmer. Spoil that one back to the screen.
It's always a plus for a player if you play high school with, say, someone like Hosmer, where a lot of scouts are always coming around because it's going to be a high-round draft choice.
Good point.
If you're someone like Castellanos, you're just a sophomore. You're not really on their radar yet, but yet you hit 2 home runs in that game while everybody's watching Hosmer, and all of a sudden you start to get some notoriety.
That was close. 3 and 2 now on Hosmer.
That happened to me in high school as well. Tim Leary, a really good pitcher in the major leagues for a couple of different teams. He played at Samo High as well, and there was always scouts there watching him. So myself and some of the other guys on the team, we got noticed.
Now Boyd ready with the 3-2. You remember any big games that you had in high school that you knew scouts were there and that it really helped you?
I don't recall, any big games, but, I had a good high school career, so I'm sure I hit some home runs, and I was pitching in high school as well and playing center field, so I'm sure I had some good games, but I think I got on the map playing American Legion baseball in the summers of 76 and 77.
I didn't know you pitched in high school.
I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you throw about 98, 99?
No, I didn't throw that hard once I got to high school because I threw so much in Little League and, all the way up.
High fly ball, right field line, foul ground. Kinsler makes the catch and the threat is over. So the Royals get the first 2 men on but do not score.
MASH and welcome back Cotter and CPO Sharkey. The last time it happened that the Royals had a 12-game lead in their division. They have the chance to do that with the Twins off tonight. It was August of 1976. And Mario, we find out tonight that was also when Rod Allen wasn't drinking legally.
CPO Sharkey.
I wasn't watching them TV shows either.
Oh, man, Keeney digging deep into the bag of funnies tonight.
Yeah, he did.
Cueto back to the hill in a 3-0 ball game. A 1-1 count on Romine, who fouls it back. Well, here are the standings. 11.5 game lead for the Royals over Minnesota. 66-44. One ball, 2 strikes on Romine, who fouls it back again.
The Tigers really have had no difficulty playing within the division, but it's been outside of the division where they have really struggled this year as a baseball team.
For sure. In the Central, they've held their own, and beyond that, it'll go foul. Tigers are 11 over within the Central Division.
And the Royals also very good within the division, but they play better baseball on the road, and they've beaten up on a lot of other really good teams this year.
30-18 for KC, 29-18 for the Tigers.
Those other 4 teams on that list all in the playoff picture with the exception of Detroit.
Miggy doing his best cheerleading from the bench. Here's a bouncing ball hit to the right side. Hosmer scoops it up. Cueto will cover. And Romine is out by a step. 1 out.
Won't be long before Miguel is not cheering from the bench. He'll be leading by example in the batter's box. Took some BP once again today and did some light running, not full speed, but he started to move around, running some bases after he took BP today. Ground balls, BP, they're running the bases casually. He's starting to get ready. He's getting closer. I don't see a limp there either. You see a limp?
Nope. Tomorrow, though, will be the big day because he will run the bases before the game tomorrow, and also will hit a little bit more. But Miguel Cabrera certainly on the comeback trail. He's going to face live pitching tomorrow. What a boost the Tigers would get from his return, really from a morale standpoint more than anything else. But he looked good jogging the bases there, taking BP.
Today is Anthony Gost's birthday. He is 25 years old today.
Swing and a miss. Walked into the clubhouse today, and Ghost had a happy birthday balloon hanging from his chair.
Yeah, just one.
I didn't see a cake, though, or any presents. 0-2 on Ghost. But outside, 1-2. Johnny Cueto has given up 2 hits. Double by Martinez, single by Marte. That's it. Cueto's pitch count has been in better shape than Boyd's most of the night because of the 33-pitch first inning for Matt. Good rip there by Ghost, fouled it back. There are the numbers by inning. You see the 23 in the 5th, but it's still, even though he threw a lot of pitches, really wasn't all that stressful. He gave up a 2-out single, but nothing after that. Here's a drive to center field, sinking, and it'll drop in. Base hit. 3rd hit of the game now for the Tigers. Here's Tyler Collins. Couple of fly ball outs for Collins, 1 to right, 1 to center. Back out of play 0-1.
I had a nice conversation with Tyler in the clubhouse, and we were talking about the delivery of Cueto, and he said actually a guy like Cueto forces him into getting ready. So he's ready for the quick pitch, and he says even if he does go to the longer version of his delivery, he's ready for that one too, because he's already gotten set, because he's anticipating a quick pitch.
And Cueto missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Collins has hit safely in his last 3. This is his second stint with the Tigers.
Hitters will tell you they see the ball a little bit better by Cueto when he's pitching out of the stretch.
Bouncing ball right side. Ranging left is Infante. They'll get the out there. Advance the runner with 2 gone. That'll bring up Kinsler. I know there are some arguments both ways on this, but do you think when guys pitch out of the stretch they lose a little bit off their fastball?
I think guys might lose a little bit off of their fastball if they slide step. A lot of times when you slide step, you don't gather yourself by lifting up your leg and getting to that really nice balance point until your arm catches up. So there doesn't seem to have as much aggression when you're pitching out of the stretch versus the windup. So I do think guys lose maybe a mile or 2 on their fastballs out of the stretch.
Kinsler pops up the first pitch to end the inning.
They just cannot hit that fastball that Cueto's featuring.
All right, Mick, thanks. As we go to the bottom of the 6th here in KC, it is 3-0 Royals. Kansas City got 3 in the very first inning, and, well, neither team has scored since. Kendrys Morales will lead it off for the Royals. It'll be Morales, then Moustakas, and Salvador Perez. RBI single in the first for Morales. First pitch is lined to left field down the line. Fair ball, going to go to the corner. It'll rattle around the corner, and on his way to second with a double is Kendrys Morales.
And Morales has just done major damage this year against Tigers pitching. In 11 games this year, he's batting about .345, and he's driven in 9 runs. It really doesn't matter if it's a left-hander or a right-hander. He is just having a really good season.
Well, he sees Boyd extremely well. He's 4 for 6 against him this year. So leadoff man now in scoring position for Mike Moustakas. That is the 9th hit of the evening for KC.
Yeah, you wonder if Moustakas might be up there with nobody out and bunting for a base hit. He's done it several times already this year.
Ball 1.
And the reason I say that, it might be easier for Moustakas to get Morales to third base that way than it is for him to try to hit something toward Ian Kinsler or Marte on the right side of the infield.
Bouncing ball right side. Marte going to come to third base. Wow, what a play by Marte to throw out the runner at third, Morales.
Just a great heads-up play by Marte, knowing the situation, knowing that Morales does not run very well. That ball hit rather sharp at him. So he just comes up and fires the ball to third base to get the easy out there. No problem throwing that ball across the diamond either for Marte, who was a third baseman by trade.
Nice play, and that's going to be it for Matt Boyd. Really, aside from the first inning today, Rod, nice work.
He did do nice work. And he went to his break balls, change-ups after that, and kind of slowed Kansas City down.
Wallside Windows pitching change here in KC. We'll be back. .98 pitches in this game tonight, 5 1/3, responsible for the runner at first base.
Of the 98 pitches Boyd threw here this evening, 61 of those were strikes.
Salvador Perez will face Buck Farmer, who comes out of the bullpen. And it's ball 1 to Perez.
And Perez this season has been a better hitter against right-handers than he has against left-handed pitching. Buck Farmer, fastball 93 to 95. He also has a really good changeup. Here's Buck's numbers. 5 games at this level.
This is his 4th different stint with the Tigers. Last time out in the 7th against Boston, 2 2/3, 2 runs.
Here's the splits on Salvador Perez. And left-handers held him to a 193 average. Righties 277.
Perez singled and a strikeout in this game. Rolled foul. Perez homered in that series against the Tigers last week at Comerica. The home run came against Justin Verlander. And the only game the Royals won in that series.
And last year, Salvador Perez, if you count the postseason, he played in more games as a catcher than any catcher in the history of the game.
Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's always that talk about teams that go to the postseason a lot and how that extra, if they go deep in the postseason, month can mean to them next year in terms of when the games really start to pile up.
Then I think he went to Japan. Didn't they go to Japan
They
last
did.
offseason?
Yeah. That's a lot of baseball.
It sure is. He loves the game.
The 2-2. Low, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Salvador Perez.
More than likely, Moustakas will vacate first base here with 1 out. The reason for that is Salvador Perez has already grounded into 17 double plays this year, so they might be able to stay out of a double play if they put Moustakas on the move. Of course, a strikeout, and Avila will throw Moustakas out at second base. But I think the risk is warranted here.
There he goes. Driven deep down the left field line. It is going to be a foul ball. Oh, man.
Kerwin Danley had a real good look at it, the third base umpire.
Just a hair on front of that.
There's Kerwin.
Three and 2. The count stays on Salvador Perez. And Moustakas chased back. Again, they had him on the run on the 3-2, so more than likely going again here. Rios waiting on deck. Runner goes, and he walked him inside. That'll put 2 men on. Hey, see the Tigers play the Rangers Thursday, August 20th at 7:08. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 bags of chips, and 4 drinks. All for just $19 per person. It's the Tigers Weekday Value Pack. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Prince Fielder and the Rangers come a-calling. Well, 2 on now with 1 out, and here is Alex Rios.
It's our first look at Texas, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's almost September by the time they get there.
Wow.
Rios, tough night, 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts against Boyd, and that one rides inside 1-0.
A dangerous count here. 1 ball, no strikes, especially to a guy that loves to hit fastballs, like Rios does.
Good pitch. 1-1.
Tyler Collins in left field is playing really shallow.
Boy, he is.
I mean, extremely shallow.
Outside, 2-1 the count.
They say that this ballpark in the outfield is every bit as big as Comerica Park. Even though it's only 410 to center field, they just say from left field line to right field line, this ballpark is as big as Comerica.
Comerica's 420 to dead center. Then It's got that gap in right center.
But look at these gaps. 387 to right center.
Ground ball left side. Castellanos goes to second. There's one. And a double play. Boy, the Tigers needed that. They swing it around the horn. 5-4-3. And that's all for the Royals in the 6th. So Boyd gets a little bit of help from Buck Farmer, who throws a double play ball.
Ball of the game after giving up hits on fastballs to 3 of the first 4 batters that he faced and giving up a crooked number, a 3-spot. Boyd got busy with the off-speed pitches, change-ups, curveballs, and then he got away with some fastballs up in the strike zone and went on to pitch a pretty good game after the first inning.
Yeah, he gave up nothing else the rest of the way. Now the Tigers trying to get it going here against Johnny Cueto as we go to the 7th.
Unfortunately for Boyd here this evening, Johnny Cueto has been awfully stingy.
That's grounded foul, third base side, 0-2 on Victor Martinez. Strikeout, fly out for Victor. Cueto with the 0-2. At one point retiring 10 straight before Marte had a single in the 5th. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Martinez had the 2-homer 5 RBI game on Thursday against the Royals. Those home runs came against Yordano Ventura. Tomorrow night starter. Again, the 1-2 spoiled another one.
Here are those 3 home runs last week for Victor. Well, actually, on Thursday, here's the 2, and then, of course, on Saturday, he hit one against Tazawa of the Boston Red Sox. 2 fastballs and a split-fingered fastball.
Ooh, good spoil there, back in the seats. JD to follow, and then Nick Castellanos. In the 7th here in Kansas City. Full house here tonight to watch Cueto make his Royals debut. And the Tigers trying to get to him here in the 7th. Popped him up. Shallow center field. It's going to be the second baseman, Infante. Victor now is 0 for 3, 1 gone. JD Martinez, a double and a soft line out. Martinez hit 300 on the last homestand for the Tigers. 320 in the month of August. Here's the 0-1. Bounced foul, and the count is quickly 0-2 on JD.
Already 30 home runs this year for JD. He's driven in 74.
Swing and a miss. He struck it out. 2 gone.
It's a nasty pitch. It's a fastball. It's a two-seamer that just kind of changes directions once it gets into the hitting zone and runs in on the hands of JD Martinez. This ball started out right down the middle and ended up 6 inches off the plate inside.
Miggy still chirping?
And Cueto's chirping back at Miggy, too.
Castellanos lines one to third for the final out.
Miggy better leave Cueto alone.
Yeah. He's not afraid, though. Stretch time here at the ballpark. 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Hits 3 runs, all of them in the first inning, but after that, nothing but zeros. Johnny Cueto's been good tonight, and Lorenzo Cain, big 2-run double in the first inning. Buck Farmer goes back to the hill, facing Omar Infante as we get it started down the bottom of the 7th. Infante, then Escobar and Zobrist. Farmer came on, got a big double play ball in the 6th. The Tigers have turned 2 now in each of the last 2 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Infante fly ball and a pop-up. There is Kyle Ryan, who was just called up today. He's loosening in the Detroit bullpen.
Ian Kroll was sent back down to the minor leagues after his outing yesterday.
Hard hit ground ball to third. Castellanos comes up throwing. One out.
That's why they call it the hot corner. One step and a mini dive by Castellanos, able to make the play. You can see that Marte over at first base still trying to get his footwork together over there.
Yeah, he was a little bit iffy there. Here is Alcides Escobar. Strike one to Escobar, who has had 2 hits tonight, 2 singles and a strikeout. In the air, center field, playable for Ghosts. 2 gone in the 7th.
Chevrolet brings you the high-strength steal early in the game. It was Zobrist in the 3rd inning who singled down in the left field corner, and a really nice play by Collins to throw him out at second base, trying to stretch that single into a double, or Chevrolet high-strength steal.
Well, it turned out to be big because Zobrist was thrown out later in the inning. Hosmer had a double. Here's the 0-1. Zobrist with a walk, 2 singles in this game. He has actually walked more times than he has struck out this year.
That doesn't happen very often.
It's hard to do.
Only I think 3 players in the major leagues accomplished that last year. Michael Brantley was one, Victor Martinez was one, and I'm drawing a blank on the 3rd. I know those 2 for sure, though.
The 1-2.
Well, he might have been the only 2.
See if Kinsler can get there. His throw is not in time. Infield hit for Zobrist, his 3rd hit of the game.
It's a nice effort by Buck, and also a real nice effort by Ian Kinsler. After the ball trickled in his direction, he barehanded it, flipped it to Marte, but not before Zobrist able to cross the bag.
So the inning is still alive here for Lorenzo Cain. 2-run double in the 1st. He knocked into a double play in his last at bat. Ball 1.
Kansas City has been playing some outstanding baseball here, and they have won 14 of their last 17 games at home. Talk about protecting the home turf.
Well, they're a bit short in the bullpen tonight, that vaunted bullpen. Ned Yost said he'd like to stay away from Kelvin Herrera and Ryan Matson, who is also pitching late in games. Wade Davis still being bothered by a little bit of a back problem, so he's questionable.
So they're down 3 then.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to need it tonight.
Well, and that's exactly the point with Cueto, the way he's pitching. It's drilled to left field. And Collins goes over to cut it off. Cain has a 2-out single.
Lorenzo Cain has turned into a really good fastball hitter, especially when he knows he's going to get that fastball.
Farmer will not face Eric Hosmer. Kyle Ryan will. Another wall side windows pitching change in this one. Farmer gives up the baseball. And the Tigers going back to the bullpen. We'll be back. photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. 3-0. Royals have the lead, threatening with 2 outs here in the 7th. Kyle Ryan will take over for Detroit.
Ryan has a 3.91 earned run average, 10 strikeouts, 8 walks in the limited time that he has pitched at this level this season.
Meanwhile, Gerard Dyson has come on a pinch run at second base for Zobrist. Here is Hosmer standing in. Ball 1 from Ryan.
If you're Ryan, you cannot be preoccupied with Dyson at second base. If he wants to steal third base, let him do it. The guy standing in the batter's box needs all of your attention right now.
Speed to burn on the bases. Dyson and Kane.
Hosmer takes a violent swing.
2-0. Well, one of the issues that Ian Kroll had yesterday was that he faced 4 left-handed batters and gave up 4 hits.
Yeah.
And now Ryan called up to try and get lefties out, and he's got an immediate opportunity here with Hosmer. Here's the 2-0. Instead, he'll bluff to second. Tigers still in this game basically because the Royals are just 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight. They've had multiple opportunities, but they've hit into a couple of big double plays.
In case you're wondering, Dyson is 28 of 31 in steals of third base in his major league career. But with 2 outs, and no need to concern yourself with him.
Way outside. 3 balls, no strikes on Hosmer.
Would not shock me to see Hosmer swing the bat here with 3 balls, no strikes, if he does get a fastball from Ryan here.
Not a whole lot easier on deck. Hendrys, Morales.
And Hosmer will not be trying to hit a single if he takes a swing at a fastball here.
He'll take it's a strike. 3-1.
Nice little cutter, nice little slider / curveball thrown by Ryan there at 87 miles an hour.
Runners go, and a bouncing ball foul down the first base line. Now it's 3-2. Boyd and Norris, the 2 new young Tigers in the rotation. Boyd, a good effort tonight. Aside from that 3-run first, really did a nice job. After allowing just 1 run in his first start to the Royals. So with the count 3-2, the runners again will be on the move. Ground ball back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Dyson will score. Kane goes to third, and Hosmer gets it done with 2 outs.
It's a 3-2 fastball that is right down the middle at 89 miles an hour. Hosmer didn't try to do too much with it. Able to hit it right past the diving Romine, who was shading him up the middle, but couldn't get there.
Hosmer's second hit, his 62nd RBI of the year. Royals lead 4-0, and now here is Kendrys Morales. Single double tonight for Morales, plus an RBI. Strike one. That is awaken the crowd again. Here's Ryan's 0-1 pitch. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is the 3rd stint with the Tigers this year for Ryan. He was optioned back down in Toledo at the end of July. He didn't spend too much time down there. Quickly back up with the Tigers. Checked it. A strike called by Joe West. 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Grounded foul. Here's some of the moves the Tigers have had the last couple of days. Of course, Alani and Ryan coming back. Green went down to Toledo, and we mentioned Ian Kroll was sent down today. So a little bit of a shake-up in the bullpen. But Brand was pretty straightforward yesterday after that ball game that they could have won, Rod. It was close until the very end, of course. Bradley had the big hit, but he simply said, look, our bullpen's got to get out. And they haven't done it.
Yeah, and it's been difficult for them a majority of the year. They had one stretch, I believe it was the month of May, where the bullpen really showed up and pitched some really good baseball. But by and large, the bullpen has struggled this year, as has their starting pitching.
Drill to center field. Here comes Ghosts, and that will end the inning. Royals get another run on the RBI by Hosmer.
It's Justin Masterson, and he hit it. He knew it was gone. He had a little bit of a bat flip and also a skip before he took off down toward first base. And the Boston dugout really didn't appreciate the bat flip by Marte yesterday. I guess you really just can't have fun anymore in the big league.
No, I mean, look, yeah, was it a bat flip? Sure. Was it a mini bat flip? Yeah. I mean, he didn't fling the thing in the air. They were upset. You're right. But, I mean, that was a big home run for the Tigers. It was late. The young man's trying to kind of build a big league career here, and he's having some fun. Here's Dyson. He'll stay in the game and play in left. I just didn't see that bat flip as really anything that was major. Did you?
I mean, I know Big Poppy's hit a lot of home runs, so I'm not making the comparison of the two players. But David Ortiz, I mean, have you seen some of his launches after he hits a home run and flips that bat?
I have. And he takes about an hour and a half to get around the bases, too. But Ortiz been around a long time, and maybe they had the issue with Marte because he is a young player.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not going to hold it against him. There's a ball outside from Cueto, 2-0. It'll be Marte Avila Romine. Bottom three facing Cueto, who has scattered 3 hits in this game.
And he's only thrown 91 pitches in the game so far and really has not made many mistakes over the heart of the plate. Everything up and down and in and out and changing speeds on everything that he throws. Multiple deliveries, you name it. Cueto has he's showed it to you tonight.
He has gone 3-0 now on Marte. Avila waiting on deck.
He really hasn't had many 3-ball counts tonight.
And is in there for a strike.
As a matter of fact, that was his first 3-ball count of the evening.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. And a strike called. Marte thought he had a walk.
Check that. That was his first 3-0 count, but he had 3 balls on another hitter this evening.
Ooh. Cueto got the benefit of this one.
That's a nice frame job there by the catcher Perez to pull it up in the strike zone. Victor Martinez was the only other batter 3 balls tonight from Cueto.
Wasted one.
You know, we were talking about Brad and the multiple deliveries by Cueto and the problems it might present for a catcher. He said really the only thing he could think of is a runner on second base when you're not trying to set up too quickly as a catcher because you don't want that base runner to possibly relay signs to the hitter. He says that might be the only situation where the quick pitch might come into trouble for a catcher.
Shattered bat, little looper, and over the head of the shortstop, Escobar. It's a base hit for Marte. Leadoff man on here in the 8th. Check in with John Keating now.
Well, Mario, it was while the Royals were in Cleveland that the trade with Cincinnati was turned to bring Johnny Cueto to Kansas City, and there was a royal reception for Cueto once he joined his new teammates at Jacobs Field. Somehow, somebody found a crown for him to wear, which I'm not sure is the best look, even for people who should be wearing crowns. But with the dreads, he pulled it off, and Johnny Cueto getting a chance to pitch in front of the home crowd for the first time, and man, they love him already.
And he's done a great job here tonight as Avila bangs one off his foot.
Keith, I have a feeling they're going to be wearing a lot of dreads around this ballpark, just like they did a couple of years ago when Maglio Ordonez had those flowing locks.
Well, we love the mascot look that we showed you earlier in the game. It didn't take him long to get the dreads going beneath the crown that Slugger is wearing here at Kauffman Stadium, and so that was sort of a natural fit for the mascot. But already he's got rock star status here. Johnny, not Slugger. We already assumed that Slugger's got the rock star status.
Yeah, he's already there. All right, Keith, thanks. Avila now is chatting with Kevin Rand. Get him on the knee.
It looked like he hit it right off the top of the knee. And it's the back knee, too. And right off the outside of it. He's got a knee pad on there, but apparently it got in there on the side.
Avila is 0 for 2. Tigers trying to get something going here. They have a leadoff single in the 8th, down 4-0. Fouled straight back. 0-2 on Alex. Strikeout, flyout in this game.
"100 pitches is really nothing for Cueto. He's had starts this year where he's thrown 125 pitches. He had another start where he threw 123 pitches. And you can bet the Royals are going to get everything out of Cueto for the next 2 months.
There's no doubt. Because who knows where he's going to be next year.
That's right.
That is not their concern. Cueto right now trying to take care of Avila. Earlier tonight it retired 10 straight before a Marte single in the 5th. Jeffrey's got 2 hits tonight. And Avila spoils another. There you go. 100 now for Cueto.
He's had innings of 8 pitches, 6 pitches, a couple of an 11 and 12. Just in case you're wondering, 16 is a pretty good number average-wise for pitches thrown in an inning for pitchers.
Got him, strike 3, and Avila caught looking. Joe West calls him out. Alex disagrees.
And looks like the benefit of the doubt was given there to Cueto. That fastball tailing off the plate. You saw the catcher frame that ball and pull it back on the corner, and he was able to get the call from Joe West, who is the home plate umpire tonight.
6 strikeouts now for the right-hander Cueto. There's a strike called on Romine. A couple of ground balls tonight for Andrew. Season average at 270. Inside 1-1.
It's the one thing that Cueto does when Perez does call for the ball inside. If he misses inside. He does not miss over the plate.
Checked it. Strike called by Joe West. Tell by Romine's body language he wasn't real happy with that call either. 1-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Cueto, his 7th of the game. That'll bring up Anthony Gose.
Salvador Perez showing some real nice leadership skills. He calls for the changeup, and then he pats the dirt. Give it to me down. Make sure you get it down, and Cueto gets it down, and he blocks it.
Gose sends a ground ball to second. There's the force at second for the out. Inning over. No runs, leadoff single, 1 left, and a big standing O for Johnny Cueto.
These Royals fans are fired up.
In the 8th inning, 12 hits for Kansas City, only 4 for the Tigers, and Kyle Ryan goes back out there. And the first one is up and in to Mike Moustakas, who leads it off. Ryan came on, gave up the RBI single to Eric Hosmer to make it a 4-0 game in the 7th. Fouled back out of play. Oh for 3 for Moustakas. 1-1 is a strike on the outer edge.
A nice little bender there thrown by Ryan. Started that ball inside and it ended up on the outside corner.
High fly ball left center field. And Tyler Collins makes the play. Moustakas is out of there, 1 gone. Hey, follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. And bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Here's Salvador Perez.
That might be my favorite app.
It's right up there for me. Ball outside, 1-0. Little chopper down the third base line. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Perez. That bat app can give you so many things, man. Scores, stats. You can watch the games. You can even go back and watch the archive game.
Exactly. Radio broadcast of both teams if you want to do a little extra homework.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1-2 now the count.
And Salvador was looking for something off speed on that fastball that he just took, which was right down the middle.
Bouncing ball third base side. Castellanos deep behind the bag. 2 gone.
Castellanos starting to move his feet a little bit better down at third base. I've noticed that about the last 5 days or so. On the balls of his feet, once he gets that ball, he gets to a really nice position to make that throw across the diamond.
Two gone now for Alex Rios.
That's what I'm talking about regarding Nick. He gets on the balls of his feet, he gets ready, and then once he backs up, jumps, and then gets rid of that ball in a hurry.
Rios 0 for 3. They've handled him tonight. Bounced into a double play in the 6th. Ryan's 1-1. Lifted foul down the right field line. Here's the 1-2. Lifted back out of play. Now Ryan's 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Kyle has himself a 1-2-3-8. So go to the 9th. Tigers down by 4. All right, Mick, thanks. It is last call time for the Tigers. Johnny Cueto is out there trying to finish this off. Looking for a complete game. It'll be Collins, Kinsler, Victor Martinez.
Yeah, the only other complete game this year for Johnny Cueto.
Just drilled to right field, but straight to Rios, one gone.
Came on July 7th against the Washington Nationals in Washington.
Collins hit that ball hard, but straight at him.
That might be the hardest ball hit tonight.
I think it is.
Which gives you an idea of just how well Cueto has pitched.
Kinsler looks at a strike, 0-1. 36,672 the attendance here tonight.
And they're standing and they're cheering after every pitch.
And another strike, 0-2 on Ian. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Cueto is in a groove now. He's ready with the 0-2. Swing and a foul tip. Ian with a half-hearted swing just got a piece.
Yeah, and Cueto just out there having fun now. At the Tigers' expense.
A double and 3 singles tonight allowed by Cueto. Pulled foul. Swing and miss, struck him out 95 miles an hour at the letters.
He's still got a lot left in his tank. 113 pitches in, 95, and now he's starting to get fired up.
His 8th strikeout. Oh, man. 2 gone. It's all up to Victor Martinez. Victor is 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. Pop-up flyout strikeout for Martinez.
22 of 31 in first pitch strikes so far tonight by Johnny Cueto, which is exceptional. So he has been ahead of nearly every single hitter this evening.
Here's a 1-1. Should do it in the air. Shallow right center. Kane and Rios makes the catch. And Johnny Cueto throws a complete game shutout tonight against the Tigers. He needed 116 pitches to get it done. And Cueto certainly was in fuego tonight. Final score 4-0 KC. Back with more from Kauffman Stadium.